All right, hello out there. This is Regina Rose. I'm going to give a demo of painting sailboats at sunset. And I'm not going to do a complete sunset because I don't want my sailboats to be a silhouette this particular time. Typically on a sunset, that's what you usually would get. First thing I'm going to do here, I pre-drew. To keep this video short, I pre-drew the sailboats and the sun and my horizon line. And so now I'm merely going to get my background up here wet. Because I'm going to do the sky first. Now we're going to leave the sun and the sailboats dry because we're not going to paint in that area. And I want the paint for the sky to just flow around. I don't know if I have to yell. I've got my speaker here, so we'll see how well that works. I will be pulling beautiful colors in this sunset, reds and oranges, and might even get a purple going on. I put a little bit of blue in this water to better see where I have put water and where I haven't. My paper's a little bit grainy here, but I'm going to keep on keeping on. Going around the sun, because right now around the sun is going to be the sky. But I'm going to keep the area around the sun pretty bright. So the first thing I want to do is get myself some really light yellow, extremely light yellow, which means lots of water. More than I have here. I want it lighter. So I'm going to just paint around the sun a light yellow. I'm going to start with a dark sky up top, blue. Now I'm going to add some reds. Let's see, I'll pick on this red right now. I want to drop some red in the sky. And you know, whatever is in the sky is also in the water because it merely reflects. The water is like glass. It merely reflects what is around it. In the ocean, it's usually this sky predominantly. That's why when you see a real stormy day, the ocean is not blue. The ocean is extremely gray. If I got puddles here, you know I can pick up puddles this way with my brush. A little more puddles than I wanted and getting that wet. And I'm going to do orange. I really like orange in the sunset. So I'm going to use red and yellow. I clean out my brush so as to not, and I'm going to use a warm yellow I have here. I like that orange. You know, this will be drying pretty light. I'm going to go around this sun again to get a glow. I want it to glow. So I need to be very light around it. And what I'll do when this dries, I'll probably go back into the sky a bit more with colors that are a bit brighter. So the sailboat's sails are usually white. Every once in a while you get a colored one. They'll have numbers or writing on the sail, but typically they're white. So I obviously am using the white of the paper, but we have billows, we have curves within it, and so we want to see a bit of some grays on that. And you have black and white to make a gray. I don't have. I'm going to have to make my own gray with the palette I'm using. And I'm going to attempt to go in and just give the sail some shadows, especially when the sun is setting. Maybe just leave a little bit of light on that sail. This one is billowing here, so I'm going to go inside there. And I'm not good at staying inside my own lines, as you see. I'm going to go down this side, come this way. The only reason I outlined mine with the black pen was so that you can see my sailboat lines. For you, you can merely do it with the pencil. You can do it with your pencil. I'm going to give my boat, I love the color red, so I'm going to give it a real light, a red line across the side here. The other thing, even if this is a white boat, we would only see gray also because it's not in the sun and the sun is setting. So we're not going to leave it white. I'm going to put a little line on that boat too. And I'll go ahead and use that same color that I used on the, I'll go a little bit darker. That same color that I used on the sail. You know, I can't touch that line I just put in. And I can leave some lights in areas. Now I'm going to go right down here into the reflection. Might as well. After I sketched this sailboat out, I went online to take a look at sailboats to see, and I already did my Sharpie. These are how I do things, not crazy ways. Don't recommend it. Look up your information for whatever you're painting. Look it up first so you get some accuracies on some descriptions of what you see. And I'm talking about that, for instance, I had the sail coming up this way, and they usually are all in the water from the front to the rear right here. There's a better word for the rear of a boat, I know, but I don't know it right now off the top of my head. The other thing that we have is we have within the boat here a little housing unit. You can, mini boats, you can actually go inside. They have beds, they have areas where you can cook. It's just like, it depends upon the size of the sailboat. You can get a sailboat real fancy with lots of room inside. I'm doing this part of the boat, this little unit here. And after that, I'm going to put a little man in my boat. Oh, he should have a partner here. Okay, that'll work. Let me get the little top area here. And this area, we can leave it a little sketchy because we're going to have ripples in the water. I actually should be doing this a little later. All right, let's make this sun a little brighter. I'm going to lift out some paints actually. You see the little, oh, my camera went sideways. How did that happen? You see a shadow line going across, so that's for my mic. So I want to blot out around the sun. But if you see on this particular paper where I have all these little bumps and grains showing up, a nice piece of water for beginners, this is fine. For children, this is fine. But you want to, later when you want to do better quality work, you want to make sure you get better quality papers. So now I'm going to drop down here and do the sky upside down. Oh, I got it wet first. Didn't I get it wet first? So I better do the same now. Wet my water. Had a little bit of yellow in that brush. Not worried about it. Okay. If you hear, I live right outside of a community pool. If you hear screaming, there's kids in that pool screaming today. Oh my. Okay, so our reflection goes this way. First of all, when we have the moon, we're going to keep a line going down here for the moon. That's not the moon, the sun is setting. And then I'm going to make my orange again. I'm going to go into this area, leaving white for the moon, sun, getting around these boats and sails. It's probably the hardest part of the painting. And I'm going to go into the red because the sky is up here and we have the red, the blue, and the blue. And I'm going to drop in the red portions. And last, the blue. I'm using the ultramarine blue here, guys. See where I'm getting purple now? Digging that. That's my red and my blue mixing. Yeah, I like the colors down here a bit more.
Hi.
I'm videoing right now. I'm videoing.
I am. Excuse me. I got you on a flurry. I can put it on ice.
Yeah, do that.
Go take a quick little run. You can eat it after that.
I'm making this line right up here a little bit darker to identify the horizon line a bit. Because my paper's giving me a problem, I'm going to let this dry and then I'll kind of put in the shadows or reflection, not shadows, of the sails coming down. And I'm going to go up top and I'm going to make this top area a little bit darker blue. I still had that red in my brush, so didn't know that, so it just came out. Darker blue. Let's move down to red. If you overlap your blue, you'll get a purple, of course. And now a little bit of orange. Near the bottom. I just wanted that sunset that I had a little bolder. Nothing's more beautiful than a nice, colorful sunset. And watercolor dries lighter. So if I would have remained with the original color that I had, it would look really washed out. So I'm not so much liking that my sun didn't really appear as bright as I wanted to standing out. So I'm just going to take my brush. I'm going to pick up some areas around it. And now I'm going to go in with yellow. When you do those things, they go far away. First, the reflection is large, and then it gets smaller and smaller. Just not to jeopardize my paint here. Again, I see puddles that will balloon out. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Real quick, I want to do the sail reflection. Here we go. So we already did the boat. And it could be really as simple as that. Let's do this little guy over here. So I'm going to call this painting complete. Bye.